Test. All right, audio is good. Whoa, blow off the computer already. Oh, let's cover it up again. Howdy, folks. My name's Dave. I'm a wood turner. I started turning as therapy for PTSD. Found out I had a knack for it. Fell in love with it. Fell in love with teaching it too. So that's why I started this channel, to become a better teacher and a better demonstrator and a better turner. The more I work with other turners, the more that information I pass on also gets re-cemented into my own head. And of course, then there's always the secret sauce, and that is practice. So welcome. I think I want to start with, let's get this guy down here. Let's see, that's not quite where I want it. That'd be more centered. So last week I started this hollow form. Piece of maple crotch wood. And let's see, I got to the point where I had the outside shape pretty well where I wanted it. It needed to dry a little bit to sand, but that can happen while I'm starting to open this guy up. So let's get to it. Let's move that aside, over to there, and we will grab this. So it should not have moved very much, if at all. And I didn't actually have it set in the chuck before today, but that does still look pretty round, so I'm just going to go with it. Looks like it's seating all right to me. So I'm going to call that pretty safe. I had a good dovetail cut that fit the inside of my jaws. The jaws are, the inside of the jaws is flush with the dovetail cut on the timber. And then I've got a square shoulder so that this sits right on the face. I'm not bottoming out in the chuck. That's just one way to get repeatability, is to, number one, what I usually do is I will take an open spot between chuck jaws, usually 1 and 4, and this is 1 and 4. And I'll just take a pencil and mark inside on that tenon so that I can at least get a better chance of getting it back in the chuck in the place that it came out of if I have to remove this from the chuck. It's not always easy to recenter things, so anything you can do to mitigate those issues will definitely help you. So this is the first time it's been in a chuck. Now those chuck marks should line up. If I have to take this out of the chuck for any reason and I got to put it back, they should line up, and that mark will help me get it to that point. Okay, let's see. So we were essentially done with the outside. I think I'll just do this one with 5/8 spindle gouge. Let me get that out of my little tool pouch here, and I'll put the 1/2-inch one away. Let's get rid of this elbow poker dude. Guess I probably got to knock him out. Let's see. Let's move some of this stuff. I've got quite a few twice turned cups I want to at least look at. So I'm going to finish this green hollow form first, and then we'll start throwing some of those up on the lathe. Let's get this out of the way. Abrasive I don't need yet. Move the tailstock all the way back. Oh yeah, it's making a bunch of handles, so I got this picture hanger wire into some little handles that I turned, and then I turned pegs for, and just knocked the pegs in with the wire in place, so it holds it pretty tightly. And when I need to replace the wire, if I do, all I got to do is knock the pins out and then put a new piece of wire in, and it'll just be so much easier than turning a new set or whatever. But we're done with that. This is what I use to burn lines into the pieces on the outside. You will see it again in future videos, not for what I'm going to turn tonight, but also see them used in past videos. Hold on one moment. The haze from what they're saying from the forest fires in Canada, really messing with my sinuses, making it a little more difficult to get a decent breath. Unfortunately, I hope they get some fire suppression supporting weather. I think that is really close. A little bit low, I believe. That is still a little bit low. Still a little bit low, and if you saw that on the screen there, this tool steel spinning the handle a little bit. So now I know I need to watch that, like I did with the robust. I'm just drilling myself an entry hole with the spindle gouge. That should be deep enough. Alright, so I need to get as close as I can to this dude. I'm going to be using the inner part of the rim as a fulcrum, as well as the tool rest. To do this, top cutting technique and hollow it. And I think we want a little bit of right there. Maybe a little bit more overhead. So with this piece, I probably will wind up with 2 voids on the side. I'll show you that in a second. A little bit of a mud down in the bottom I just got rid of. Alright, so let's take a look at a depth. That is just about perfect. So I just need to keep working on the inner walls, but I should have, there's a possibility I'll have a void on each side of this piece, but I don't have any broken wood or any open. So there's a bridge across that holds that together there, and a bridge there that holds that together there. So they should keep their shape and not really crack. But it does mean that I most likely will be taking off that bark. So this is a little bit more of an advanced technique because I'm actually cutting on the upper surface on the inside and not down in the bottom. It's warming up a little bit. That's not terribly up. Come on, it should not be spinning. I'm going to turn this. It might be because there's a bit of a flat spot here. And let's do this. So let's go with the, whoops, I'm going to have to change the collet because I have the 1/2 inch in this guy. So let me go and retrieve that collet really quick. All right, let's see. I think that's the one. Yep. And hey, well, right, let's cool this tool off. Okay. You think so? How's it going, man? How's work and all that jazz?
Raging Street 3R Gaming said, "It's going. We're getting that fun Oklahoma weather today."
Oh, yeah. I bet. There've been a lot more.
Raging Street 3R Gaming said, "Started off hot and humid, then stormed, now tornadoes."
Yeah. Man, nothing coming close by to you, I hope. They did. What I read was the Tornado Alley now is considered to be like all of the Midwest now. But yeah, Oklahoma is famous for tornadoes. Heard they got cantaloupe-sized hail in Texas, so kind of curious. I mean, I don't know what kind. If you guys got any of that storm and any of that hail, but oh, cool. What was the last bit? The traffic apparently got super jammed down towards Norman. Oh, okay. I didn't catch that part. Wow. Well, y'all can have them things, man, but apparently Michigan is getting its share now. Always an interesting summer. All right, let's blow that out. It's a little warm around here outside. I'm gonna go take off my t-shirt and just wear this smart. I think it got down to, I was up in the UP today picking up some queens for my nukes. And it was like 76 degrees up there. When I was leaving at sometime between 2 and 2:30. And down here it was at least 85 today. I don't know what the final temperature was reported at, or the highest anyway. So I want to clean up this rim a little bit, open it up just a little bit. I need that rim to be nice and smooth so it doesn't give me any chatter. I can see I can clean up a little bit more. I don't want the tool bouncing off the inside of the rim there and causing any chatter. I'm getting really close. and steady wins the race as it was once written, and he probably said to everybody who's born before 2000 anyway. I don't know if parents read those old nursery rhymes and stuff to their kids anymore, or if there's even books that have them. I don't know. Well, I can't say my parents, like my grandma, my mom's mom did read some of those things, and also she knew some songs in German. She wasn't German herself. My step grandmother was, though. Her first grandmother's husband remarried a German gal. Really sweet old lady. But anyway, my mom's mom would sing us some songs in German sometimes while we were going to sleep, and I don't remember what those songs were, unfortunately, but it was really cool. She's since passed on a while ago. She was a pretty cool broad. If I remember right, she even called herself a old broad. Called herself a pretty groovy old broad, I believe, if I remember right. But she was. Okay. So now I'm going to work on this area right in here before I start going any deeper. Maybe where I broke through on one of them. Yep, on both of them it's gotten that thin enough. Yes, very good. Ooh, that's warm. That friction is... Well, that makes it easy to take the bark off anyway. That's cool. It's probably not the best idea since I'm working. Yep, I just cracked it because I was working into... I thought about that too late. Working into an open area with the point up. And that bought me that. So we are done with this piece. Which is unfortunate. That steel is warm now. Let's see. I don't want that one. I'm gonna use this though. This Bummer Batman. All right. Just flatten that off. We'll let that dry, and I might be able to use that. I don't know, another piece, or at the very least, is a jam check since it's maple. Be a nice, shallow blue block or jam check. Right now, we'll just let it finish drying. Okay, let's move on to how about. Yeah, man. You know what? I'm gonna take a pause. I'm gonna turn off the mic here just for a second. I'm gonna take off this inner shirt. It's really warm out here. Alrighty, that didn't take too long. Let's take a look at this guy. Okay, I thought I saw a crack on here, but it's a pencil line, so I can ignore it. And I wanted the handle on this guy to be on one side or the other. I think I've got to choose here which one is the more striking looking, I guess. This one's more even and kind of dispersed, and you just got a little knot there and kind of regular. So I'm going to put the handle over here. Let's see, this shouldn't have changed shape too very much, but what I need to do is actually reverse it first. We're going to clean up the outside. Wow, this is still relatively thick because I've got to use an expansion hold, and that's, you know, trying to spread everything together while it's trying to stay in place. And since I've got a fairly thick piece there now, that will give me more to push against and hopefully less chance of splitting this piece. Better. So having said that, I'm not going to take too much out. Too much off of this outside. I just want to pretty it up a little bit. Let's make sure everything's going to clear. Actually, I can make this smaller. Let's get the ball gouge back. Oh, I could have left that in the handle though. So I think I'm a little high there. Yep, she just left it in the handle. Alright, so that gives me a 10 to work with. Yeah. So, a twice turned piece is just that. It's a piece that you've taken and turned green, and left it at an even thickness all the way around, giving it some form, so now it's a blank. As opposed to just a chunk of wood or a billet or whatever you want to call it. Now it's a blank. It's got a shape. From that point, you let it dry, and it does all of its movement and everything. And not all of them survive, but a lot of them do. In my case, most of them actually have. The key is that even drying process, and in having that even thickness all the way through. So let's see. So you turn it green, you let it dry, then you true things up and get it back on the lathe and finish turning it. That's the second turning, and it takes yeah, well, it takes the time it takes for whatever wood it is to dry. And if I recall correctly, just air drying, it's an inch of thickness every year. That might, of course, be very different depending on your locality. I'm sure in the desert it would be something a little quicker. Don't like the fact that I'm off the tool rest so far. I don't know if that will clear. Let's turn it around the other way. That's a pretty nice surface. Actually, I think I can just go with that one. Hello. Sure, sure. Actually, I might. Well, no, I can still use this as the foot if I so desire. I can just trim it shorter. That'll work. So, done shear scraping that. I just got to work on that surface. But since I'm right here, let's true this up. And since I'm right here, actually, I will just finish it. Well, no, I won't be able to finish it. Will I? Will I? Yeah. Just need to round this off a little bit. And let's get a pretty good detail mark in it. And that edge off. And that's a nice surface to start sanding. And all of that is actually. And I still grip it in the chuck. Come on. And I do believe I'm going to do a little bit of shear scraping right here on the shoulder. Keeping all the parts I don't want snapped or ripped off on this side of the tool rails. Alright. Nope, I gotta adjust that just a little bit. What I'll have here is a short time. It's going to have enough hold to it. There we go. Just make sure that that is concave, and it's going to sit on this outer rim and not the inner one. I can do a little bit more there. How to sit on the outer rim. If somebody sits it down, let's work with this surface. I thought it would clear. I was wrong. for the handle. Now I can do a little bit of sanding. So let's grab the mask. Whoops, lost a jam chuck to the shavings. Pick that guy up. Okay. Mask. Let me find my 220. There we are. Braces a little bit dull. Alright, what do we got here? 400, don't need that yet. There's my 220. There we are. There we almost were. Alright. Let me. Looks like I got a little tear out in this spot. Alright, I bet that will benefit from some air. Just to speed things up a little bit. Non-grain supported cut. Although I'm not sure where that might have happened, but I'll go ahead and draw some attention here. Alright. And that back up. That guy away. Whoops. Alright, so it looks like I've got about 5/16 of an inch wall thickness to play with. And hey, I can turn off that compressor. Okay. So let's go ahead and hollow this dude out. This is a pretty good wall thickness. Let's at least true it up. Let's see, yeah, I'll be carving my handle there instead of there, because I think it has more character to it in the knot, or the pith of the branch I went through there is on the inside as opposed to the outside. And I would probably wind up carving that little bit away anyway, to get that rounded handle shape. So I'm not missing much by using this bit. Alright, let's see. So I gotta work with this thickness, but all the way through. That's really close. And I did a couple of these with the I don't know, fluted. I guess it's not fluted. What would you call that? Trumpeted? More of a trumpet shape on the inside, so there's a curved lip coming up, and I like the look and the feel of them better than a straight side cup. So I think they'll come out really nice looking once they're finished. Once finish has been applied. All right, so that's fairly even. A little bit more inside there so I'm not hanging off the tool rest as much. right where I left off, actually. And right now, my bottom is right here, so I've got quite a bit to work with. Okay, a little bit further down. Oops, something's rubbing. Alright, I'll take my negative rig scraper. That'll clear. Just clean up the bottom. It looks pretty on the inside, so we'll call that good. A nice even wall thickness all the way through. My bottom is now, I marked it there, so my bottom is now my thumb in the right spot, right about there, which is comparable to that thickness, so I'm good. I'm happy with that. I don't need to remove the tenon now. I'm done turning this guy. I do want to do just a little touch. So let's use this guy. This will work really well on that. And that's ready to carve. So we'll move that one aside. And yeah, that handle will go right there. The rest of this will be carved away. Oh, I guess I could move this camera over a little bit. Sorry about that. I don't have... Well, that's quite the lag today. That's too high. Still too high. Come on now. You can dial this in, Dave. Hey, Paranoid Squatch. I didn't hear you say anything.
Bot said, visit Dave Life's co-fi page at
subscribe. Oh, because you didn't say anything. You
https://
subscribed. Thank you. Thank you very much.
/HIIMDAVE question laugh equals Twitch.
Very much appreciate the support. All right, next one down. Let's go with this guy. You look like you're in a good spot for a line. Okay, so this one is oak, and it's split there, but it didn't split here. So this is where I want my handle to be. We'll see how much of that goes away. But I need to true it up first because this is not round anymore. And I'm just going to put it in an expansion hold. Since I got that meat there. And I think, wrong way. Raise that guy up just a bit. So now that's fairly even. Okay, I think. See if we can get it any closer. I bet we can. Come on. So it needs to come up just a wee bit more. Wrong direction. Ah, too far. Too far on the other side. You know what? I'll just get it close. I've got quite a bit of material I can work with. That's better. That'll work. Change my mind.
Sent not a project of his end. Report that came in.
This is red oak. Yes. The what? Let's see. Santia. Oh, okay. Cool. Thank you.
Paranoid Squatch said, still working on reading through it.
Yeah. Thank you. All right. Let's work on the outside of this dude. This bit of oak is turning really nice. Alright, so there's a split underneath. Let's see, let's look at this guy. This one is a split all the way through. So there's a split underneath here, so I got to get rid of that. That's where the handle's going. Alright, so split is gone now. Let me finish refining the outside of this cup. Let's see, does this one need a foot or at all? I love the rays that come out. They really show up when you turn an oak. That split goes right into. That's a bummer. I thought that would disappear. Well, as long as this is gone, maybe I can do something with that. All right, let me think about that. Let's take a look at the rest of this stuff. So that's a really nice, fairly clean surface. I can do my. Actually, I can just start shear scraping now. I don't have to worry about scraping. So this direction is a little bit more unforgiving. But you can shear scrape going backwards. What it does is it brings the wood at a very, very sharp angle directly into the beveled edge. Shear scraping this way just gets a really nice edge where the burr itself, it's typically curves, and we try to get rid of as much of the burr as possible, but there's a little bit of a curve there that gets a very, very sheer cut. On the regular, normal direction, I don't know what they call that. Alright, that's gonna clear. And that just about takes care of the bottom. I just want to put a little detail there. It's a really nice piece of red oak. I'm lucky with this one. Alright, let's round that over. And go right away. I guess I could wait on that since this needs to be concave. Concave it is. And that up, and there we are, done deal. Actually, not quite done deal. I'll do a little bit. Shear scraping right here with the spindle drive. So that's all nice and smooth. I'm liking that. Okay. That means I got a good solid hold with the chuck. It's a bead, but I also have that little dovetail in there, so it visually completes that circle for the bead at the same time and gives me a good solid tenon to hold on to. And let's see, let's shift that just a bit. Let's do that. Try to line up, yeah, that works, any kind of marks with the grain so it looks more natural if any marks get left behind. This is red oak, so I don't know if it'll mark it up or not. Okay. But I suspect it might. Definitely would if it was green. Okay, so this is the one that goes, wait, let's look at both. Okay, so this one pretty much disappeared. This is the guy that I've got to remove that and then do some, we'll see what that looks like on the inside. So there's that split. I'll have to do probably a little bit of repair. We'll find out. I imagine that's just the way it's going to be, just for that part of the rim. So let's follow that curve down and see what we get. I had a bit more material than I thought I had to work with, which is a good thing. Alright, move that handle out of the way. Definitely smell the oak. All right, so that's really close. I just need to get that curve in there and dial that in a little bit better. Yeah. Make sure I'm not going to come off the tool rest when I'm doing that. That's a really nice surface. I'm digging that. We'll keep that for sure. I'll have to repair. Where's the guy? He's right here. So there's a little bit of repair I'll have to do right there. So I'll grab some sawdust and some CA glue. Actually, I won't even do that. I'll probably just grab some 220 and some of that glue. So let's go grab the glue. I can move that cup off to the side. There we go. Let's see, glue, accelerant for the final bit. And that piece of 220, which is about worn out, but will be good enough for this. So I'm just going to sand that a little bit, be forcing sawdust into that crack. And I'll do that a couple times with the CA glue. And that'll pack it on this side, and then I'll do similar thing on the other side. Does double duty too, in that it also does sand the glue off of the surface. And I'm packing it in there. That's nice and smooth. Now let's go to this side. Okay. And hopefully I can get just a touch there. There we go. Paper towel sure made that easy. And I'll sand that off the surface. Then I'll hit both sides with the accelerant. And that should seal the deal and let me have a continuous rim that's not cracked. See how that holds up. Let me move this glue away so when I spray that, okay. Check that depth. I go a little bit deeper. So I've gotten a little bit more material to work with, which is good. Perfect. All right, so I'm at my final depth. Just do a little bit of cleanup work here. That looks mighty nice in there. So as I'm coming around a corner, I've lifted up the tool so that I'm getting more shear angle right on that burr that's on the tool as I come around. And that one is done. Get a really, really sheer scrape with a negative rake scraper up on end like that. Getting mighty windy out there. All right, that one's ready to carve. Very nice. And the nice thing about these twice turned pieces, like I say, they've already done the movement or the major movement that they would do during a drying process. And so when it's turned the second time, it generally is going to keep that shape. It's still going to move a little bit depending on what environment it's in, because it's just a living element. It moves with the environment that it's in, depending on humidity, heat. So we're going to have a little bit of movement, but it won't be such a large. That's really close. Large movements like you will see with green vessels. Like this is all oval now. That won't happen again. Typically, oh, I don't need that guy. Yeah, I do. but I need to lower this guy. Oh, nice piece of maple. Okay, let's see. I can make that foot. Well, that's going to be my foot now, but that can be part of the cup. So we'll make this the foot. Nah, I don't know. I think that foot's probably a little small. Yeah, I think that foot would be a little small. We'll still use it as a tenon though. Okay. Let's true this guy up. Oh, that's going to clear. Yes. There we go. That's a nice smooth curve. Work on that a little bit.
https://go-chef.com /H.
Oh, that's not going to clear. All right, so we got to flip this guy around. You can see by the size of these shavings, they're not taking off very much. I'm just hitting the high points, getting these fine little shavings. That gives me a pretty nice surface to start sanding on. I think I can do that a little bit better. Yep. So now let's work on checking to see if that was a split. We'll look at it when we get to that side. It's all gonna clear. Clean that up a little more. Burnish mark, well, yeah, it's a burnish mark. Okay. Grab the mask and sand this dude. Well, what are we looking at? 9:30, not bad. Just thinking I'm going to have to reverse this again, so to avoid that. Woo, at the top. So to avoid that, I'm going to take this tenon off and just use the actual foot to hold in the chuck. That looks nice. Okay, it's pretty much done now. So we'll move that. Take off the mask. Flip this guy around. Okay, so let's look at this. There's a bit of a split happening there. And there is a little bit of a split happening on that side. So I'm going to put the handle on this side. Oh, that split goes all the way through. Where does that one go? Dang, I don't know. Let's, oh, whoops. Now there's probably no way. Gotta try to get this trued up again. Ooh, I'll take that. I'll take it. I think that will. Nope, not quite. I say I think that will clear, but it was not going to. And now it will. So you can see on this guy, like there's a thinner area here than is basically the rest of it. And that's because as it dried, it warped a little bit. And in this one, it warped down. And as I took that surface off, I took more on that side. Not a big deal. This is where the handle materials I'm looking for is going to be. Anyway, so let's see. Let's try that. Yeah, that works. Okay, so that's a nice even wall thickness. Now where I want my handle to be. So we're good there. So I'm very close to my finished depth now, which is good. I've got fairly even wall thickness already. I just need to clean this up. Let's see, that is going to clear. Especially if I get out here. Okay. Okay, that's a nice even wall thickness. That takes care of that. Okay, so that one's done. Sweet, these are working out all right so far. So let's see what that split looks like now. So it's gone from where I want the handle to be. There's still a little bit happening here and here, but that's going to get carved away anyway. So yeah, that works. Cool. Next. Ooh, how about that guy? I wonder what that one will look like. Let's find out. So this is a nice piece of spalted maple with a very large bark inclusion that I plasticized with CA glue at some point in the past. Let's see if we can turn this into a cup. Running true. Yeah, surprisingly, all right. We'll start off with a concave foot. Something about that big, I guess. Easy there, killer. So let's see if that bark is still pretty hard. So hopefully that means I was able to flood it enough that the entire thickness of this bark was sealed up and plasticized with CA glue. Alright, that's still going to clear. Okay. Wrong gouge, still got a good edge there, so. Now it's not going to clear because I moved it. Alright. That's a pretty good curve. Let me take it. Let's see. Well, I guess. No, I think I put the handle in this area. Got some splits happening there, but I'll leave that part alone. So let me take off some of this Or not. Let's try that again. I seem to have lost my Allen wrench. Had it running true. Let's get it hopefully back. Okay. Let's grab that again. Oi, come on. Yeah, I'll take off a little bit more. It's time for me to change my tool, though. No longer sharp enough. Alright, how about this guy? Yep, that should do okay. And I can be a lot closer. It's probably still a little bit long. Yeah, that'll be okay. All right. Over deeper round bottom. Oh man, I'm catching some flame in there and apparently some beetle tracks. Which I'll have to figure out what I want to do with that. Probably, probably seal them up. Hey, there's a thought. So yeah, I guess I should do that. Okay. So what I want to do with this stuff is, pretty much saturate that bug dust with CA glue. That's not bug dust. Let it soak in there. And before I hit it with the accelerant, let's put that over there. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo, where'd you go this time? Oh, we'll use that. Oh, no, well, got a little bit left. That's all right. CA glue and sawdust will load up your abrasive for sure. And then I'll hit it with the accelerator. Don't remember where it was exactly. Oh, yeah, right there. So that should seal those up. Mask up again and do a little bit of sanding. All right. Here we have it. So let's to adjust. What I could do with it. There it is. that a little bit more. Okay. There's a beetle hole right there. Alright, let's line that up with that. Let's see. Not quite. Mine's up there. How about that? That's better. No, that's gone clear. Move these out of the way. Let's see. Take that down a little bit more. Wow, build that one pretty quick. So time to change steel again. But that's okay. I can't get any more out of this. I can use it as a shear scraper though for now. And then I'll figure out what I'm going to do with that piece of tool steel. I don't know yet. Okay. must have had quite a bit of CA glue on there. That's really dulling my tools pretty fast. And it is crotchwood, but holy cow. It's really dulling my tools. So I can go a little bit lower on the bottom there. Okay, that's better. So I suspect that I'm gonna have to sharpen my negative rake scraper more than once. And it's time to do that now. Run a new we're onto that. I'll leave the grinder running for a minute. Well, actually, maybe no. I just gotta clean up a little bit in the bottom. I seem to have done it. Got an even wall thickness. Let's see, I think I can clean that up a little bit better than that. Just a really light cut. Got the scraper up on edge. Or actually, well, not up on edge, but on an angle. Let's just test that there. There we go. I like. And then a little bit of 220. Very hard material. Alright, I'll take that. So you got a nice even wall thickness. Just need to carve for the handle, which now that I look at it will probably be right here, because that's visually interesting. That is too, I suppose, but I don't know. I have to think about either doing it here where the bark is or here where that figure is. Set this guy aside. Turn off my... Oh no, let's not turn him off yet. Since I had to put a new burr on that already, I'll do it now. Oh, I know what that was. That was spalted rock maple. And that stuff is really stinking hard. What do we got here? Another piece of reglar maple. Doing 10 o'clock. Hey, not bad. Whoopsie daisy. I don't think that will do. Let's try that. That's better. So I can get a little bit better hold on this piece of timber with the expansion hold. I can get in. Oh man, that's just rough enough. I can use a little bit more force since this is thicker material. Okay, let's see. Drop that down. Alright, that rough maple really dulled 3 tools in a row. Wow. Alright, I'm down to my last sharpened bowl gouge. Hopefully, this will get me through the rest of the broadcast without having to go take a sharpening break. Always better with sharp tools. Yeah, I think that'll work. Right off the bat. Little friendlier piece of maple. You know I do have to put an edge on this though regardless, my spindle gouge, so I'll just do that now because that was pretty beat up beforehand. I used it on the foot of that guy. Put a little bit of hurting on my tools. Pretty much redress the entire edge. So I expect I'll see that on the bowl gouges too. I'll have to spend a little bit extra time sharpening those guys. So it's a good thing I've got one more pre-sharp and ready to go. Just like I gotta spend a little bit extra time grinding this dude. I remember taking that stump out. It was I don't know, probably 18 inches above the ground, maybe a little bit less, maybe about a foot. But I had to dig out the root ball a little bit and take it down below the surface because there was no pulling that stump. That was a beast of a tree, and it was dead. So it was nice to get some spalting out of it, but that was just some really hard, dense wood. Dulled my chainsaw chain 4 times, I think. It's really hard to cut. All right, let's see. That will not all clear. Let's get that clear. Fairly flat now. Yep. Alrighty. That works. And I did get a burnish on that side. Come on. Alright, I forgot to dress up that foot. Let's see, let's go that way. It's a nice figure in it. I think I'll leave that natural edge bit there. All clear, okay. There's a little seal scraping right there. There we have the outside. Beautimous. So now I can throw some abrasive on it. Let's do that. Let's see, got that guy. And this guy. Okay. So you can see it's thicker right here than it is elsewhere because of the way it warped when it dried. But that's the area I want to have the handle anyway, so that works out. Okay, let's see about matching that up with that. Again, I'm lining up the features with the jaws, so in case there's any marks on the foot now, it'll line up with the grain and look like it belongs there, because it does. So now it's fairly even, and thickness on the wing still thin right here, but the handle is going to be over here. So again, that's not an issue. Get that out of the way. Okay, so that's fairly even. I just got to work on the inside bottom. Still should be thick in the bottom, but we'll see here shortly. Just a little bit, but I will fix that very shortly. Nice smooth bottom, fairly even wall thickness. That one's done. Nice. Oh, that's got some figure in the bottom of it. I don't know if you can see that on camera, but some figure right in the bottom. That's cool. Cool, man. I'm getting a bunch of these done. Let's see. I got several more. Oh, there's another. Do I do that one? Yeah, what the heck. Let's see how this one turns out. I got a piece of box elder. Yeah, what the heck. I'll make this one. My last one for the broadcast, anyway. I can actually, almost make that a hat. But I've got some splits here that go about a third of the way into the surface. So I definitely got to get rid of those. I don't know how well this is going to do, but it is running fairly true right now, so I'm going to leave it. Oops, wrong way. Still working with box elder, really. I'm sure I said it. But you really need to have sharp tools. Like with any other soft wood, it's a whole lot easier to work with sharp tools. Now that we're all clear, okay. Alright, almost nailed the shape of our effort, like almost right away, which is a nice feeling. Yeah. Right there. Build a building with a party of 12. Wow, hey, how y'all doing? Thanks for stopping by. I'm working on some twice turned cups. I turned them once green to allow for, and left them a little thicker, and then turn them again when they're dry, and all the movement pretty much has been done. Howdy, howdy, builder, builder. How the heck are you, man? Very cool. I don't know if I got lurkers or not. It's been fairly quiet. Just me running my jabber mouth, I guess. I can clean that up a little bit better. I can do that. There we go. 98%. Yeah,
BSWK
you want the
said,
high
we
90s,
made
yeah.
Babs right out to someone less boring.
Do what? We made Babs right out to someone less boring. The SWK, yeah, cool, man. Yeah, the high 90s is a good range to look for, I think. Have all the fingers and toes and
Builder
whatever.
said, they were falling asleep on my stream.
Ah, there's no way. And then they have the nerve to say they forced you. Thanks for coming by, guys. It's very cool. This one went, I guess, a little bit quicker than I thought it would. Yeah, I should have time left to do another one. But I do have to raid and run. Well, hey, man, I still appreciate you doing that. That's very cool. Good to see you out here, man. Thank you very much for the wonderful support. That's awesome. This is, whoops, a Kuksa style cup. It's the Kuksa cup. I'm pretty sure it's the idea came from Finland. And traditionally they were hand carved out of like birch or, another soft wood. This is box elder, which is a soft wood. I'll have to carve the handle, get rid of most of this rim, and just carve a handle somewhere on the bowl. I'll do it. Hell, I'm pretty much done with the bottom, I think. Let's see. I think I can run. Yeah, let me run the compressor, but I'll want the handle to be in line where the grain goes across, so that I have long grain in the handle as opposed to the grain being perpendicular to the bowl. It makes it very, very weak, and the handle can snap off because the grain's running sideways in the handle.
Blacksmith Dan
We want it
said,
in the
I
long way.
lived in Finland for a year. Love scanty design.
Nice. Nice. I'd love to go, man. I really, really would. I understand they have a badass army, man. They just have a badass army. But Finland is not anywhere near the size of, oh, I don't know, this country anyway. So I don't know what the like population density as far as I can look it up. I'm sure there's a lot of room to move around, but Scandinavian design, I even like uh, some of the music, not all of it. I'm not a really big techno kind of fan, but I just really was stationed in Europe and I was in the military. I got out after Desert Storm, but I just really enjoyed Europe. But I also enjoyed the Far East too. Definitely a lot different than living in this country, and I think it is important for people in this country to just have a larger world view than they do. This is not the only country on the planet, alas. Such a shame, I know, but a lot of other folks out there, a lot of other folks out there live on this ball that's floating through space. This tiny little eensy beensy blue dot. Okay, so that's the outside done. I don't gotta do no more. So this is a piece of box elder I want. Let's see, there's a split there. But where the grain is running long out, that's where I want my handle. I don't want to put the handle here where this bit of pith came through. This was at one point some part of a crotch piece. So there is a little bit of figure in it. I'm not sure. I'll probably put the handle right here. There's not a whole lot of really pop your eye out grain on this stuff. It can be very difficult to even tell the difference with box elder where the early and the late wood deposits itself. Okay, I know I'm going to mark this one up with the chuck because it's box elder, but I've got it lined up. And what I'm hoping will, look more natural when those marks are visible. So let's do something about this guy. I don't know if you all have any interest in wood turning. I really do enjoy the heck out of it, but I started turning as therapy for PTSD and then found out I had a knack for it. Fell in love with it even more. And then fell in love with teaching it too, man. I just really enjoyed. Same thing with bees. I just enjoy talking about wood turning and bees. So people get me started. I'm like, you sure? Because I can go for hours. But it is nice to see that the honeybees are getting a little bit more attention than they used to. It's unfortunate the reason why they are, but honeybees are very integral to our life cycle as far as food security in this country, even having food in this country. They are pretty important pollinators. And this year, beekeepers all over reported major losses. And while the honeybee is not the only pollinator out there, there are a bunch. And the European honeybee, of course, is also not native to this country. It's also not native to Australia. It's not native to Germany, although Germany has their own bees. On and on and on.
We'd all be better off if everyone would just read The Unsettling of America by Wendell Berry.
I'm not familiar with the title, so you'll it'd be really groovy if you give me a quick idea of what it's about. I'll definitely look it up, though. But as a beekeeper myself, I'm really concerned about how this year is going to play out. I know everybody's going to see higher grocery prices already. It'll be about a year, maybe a little bit less, and you'll see grocery prices start to climb. Well, we're halfway through this year, so yeah, a little bit less than a year, and you'll see grocery prices start to climb because we just don't have the pollinators to do that. Now, again, as I was saying, the European honeybee is not native to us. It's not native to Australia. It's not native to a lot of places that it's in. But in this country, it's considered livestock. I'm sure it is in a lot of other countries too. But it is monetized here. This is the U.S., and this is the things that.
It's his nonfiction analysis of the broken agricultural system in North America, and all his predictions came true. It's a key piece of literature if you even are remotely ecological.
Cool. I'll definitely check that out then. But yeah, it's broken. For sure. Thank you for taking the time to type that out. I appreciate it. So yeah, unprecedented losses with the honeybees, and as I keep trying, I'm not trying to talk around it. I just keep getting sidetracked a little bit, even though the honeybee is not native to this country. It is considered livestock, so it is tracked. It's monetized. It's tracked. It's on the futures market. All that shit. So them monitoring the honeybee and telling us, what the losses were and all that is an indicator to what's actually happening to the native pollinators in this country. And we have no idea. But I'll tell you, if we have such high losses with honeybees, there are high losses with the native pollinators, and those aren't being talked about. And that is really, really worrying. Very, very worrying. Because even though I'm a human being, and I'd like to say, well, I wouldn't like to say, I guess it doesn't really matter to me, it is to say that we're apex, whatever. But you know what? We can't make it without bugs. That's just all there's to it. And I don't mean eating them because that's off the menu, although, well, not completely. I mean, bugs are edible, but I'm not going to change my diet to a diet of bugs because somebody tells me cow farts are causing problems on the planet when there are over 8 billion people who fart. That's nonsense. But it would. I wish that we actually had some kind of reporting system for. I mean, we do through the peer-reviewed scientific journals, and I'm sure information will come out about native pollinators that way. But it's not so much mainstream as it really needs to be to give people a more clear idea of what's happening with the agricultural system and our livelihoods in this country.
Dan said the 15 largest.
I will get to that comment in just a second. There we go. The 15 largest container ships, and then yeah, yeah, absolutely. Not, and that doesn't count all the spillages and all the dumps of cargo that they create. In inclement weather and stuff. Yeah, I would fully believe that. It's just not what they're trying to tell people it is. I mean, why are you trying to get people to
Blacksmith
stop
guy
eating meat? What the
said,
hell? That's what we're
maybe
evolved to
we don't
do.
need so much crap from overseas, but no, we have to have our smartphones and clothes from sweatshops.
Yep, that seems to be the case. Well, that's a tiny guy. Let's save this one for another time. Oh, we're about time to wrap up anyway. So I've got let's see what do I got. I got 5 more to go. I'm going to get through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I got through
Blacksmith
8 of
guy
them.
said,
Nice.
sorry, I am trying to get off my soapbox.
No, don't get off your soapbox. Don't be no. Talk about it. Don't get off your soapbox. This is a safe place for stuff like that, man. It means our survival as a race, as an animal, and not just ours. I mean, all the other animals on the planet too. We tend to forget that we are just another group of animals floating on a rock in space. Human beings want to have this grand idea that they're apex predators and blah 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 blah. And our evolution has gone a little bit differently than, oh well, I mean, to even just start off with our closest cousins, the apes, the great apes. We share a common ancestor way, way, way back. I'm not saying we are related to chimpanzee or we evolved from chimpanzees or whatever. We have a common ancestor according to the archaeological information that I found way, 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 way back. Um, but the point is, we're just another species of animal on this planet, but we're doing the most damage. And so, yeah, no,
Blacksmith
this
guy
is.
said, I earned my permaculture design certification from PRI and
uh,
have carefully studied our ad system and cannot see a way out of what we are doing without a population crash.
well, it sounds like the government's planning that on
Blacksmith
its
guy
own.
said,
So,
hi. A values said, well, I think some people are more closely related to chimpanzees than others. LUL.
uh, I think you might be right. Good to see you again, Happiness. So yeah, I mean, well, I mean, it's in the news. It's not in the mainstream like it should be, and it's not talked about like it should be. But yeah, don't get off your soapbox for me, man. I'm on a similar soapbox talking about it. It's very important. I feel like I like to eat, and I like to breathe the air. I like to drink clean water. The rest can work itself out, right? I can make a shelter, and I suppose I could probably make clothes. I have the knowledge. I haven't actually had the experience so much, but I've got the knowledge to make clothing out of skins and other things, plants and whatever. But yeah, no, I have to say that I do buy my clothes at a clothing store, but I don't make my own clothes. I guess I could probably do that. I own a sewing machine and I know how to use it, but that is an art in itself and it takes time. And I want more time for my wood turning and my beekeeping because those are my therapies and those are what I'm
Blacksmith
trying to turn
guy
into a business.
said, yeah, trade for clothes from its oldest.
Yeah, yeah, right. Yeah, barter. I'm all about barter wherever I can. Nothing wrong with that. I don't have to. We don't have to do it all. We just have to have a community of like-minded people, and everybody has a different skill. Everybody's got different skill sets anyway, different personalities, different perspectives. But there have been, at least in historical record, some points along the line where we have gotten along. Not many. I must admit, but there have been a few moments in past history where human beings have actually gotten along. So I know it's possible. Anyway, I think I'm going to wrap up the broadcast this evening. Had a long trip that I did today before I even got in front of the camera. It's been a great day, though. I went to the UP to pick up some queens because I got some nukes started, but the weather patterns are way different this year, and the bee season is way behind. We've had too many cold nights this late in the year. I mean, I know it's Michigan, but I mean, frost warnings and freezes in May and June, and it's just making it very difficult for at least the honeybees anyway to get a good start. So I had to get some queens to get my nukes to actually start growing, and that was an 8-hour drive there. In total, 4 hours there, 4 hours back. But I got the queens installed, and so I got high hopes there. I had my apiary was pretty well um, beaten up too this year. I lost 60% of my hives. I'm not a commercial beekeeper, fortunately, because losses there were much larger. And we still don't know exactly. We have contributing factor. We know there are contributing factors, but the search is still ongoing because we don't know exactly what is causing all this. But I'll tell you my
Bad
ideas.
news, said. Still 60%? Wow.
Yep, yep.
Blacksmith Dan said. We all need to grow comfrey to help the early pollinators too, and stop thinking dandelions are a bad thing.
Oh yeah, and besides, dandelions are delicious. They are quite tasty. Yeah, yeah. I mean, get rid of lawns. That would be a huge step.
Copen Stream Bot said.
It's
Visit
what do they call it?
AWebs.fi
Monoculture, right?
Pemijai.
Grass is a
HTTPS
monoculture, and
colon
it's a
slash
weed,
slash
and it doesn't really do much for the
o-fi.com
soil in
slash
the first place. Now, the
HIIMDABE
old
question
prairie
graph
grasses,
equals
that
3.
was a different story. But the stuff we grow for our lawns today need to go away and get back to, the native plants that grow in the area. That would go a long way to clean up some of the toxicity in the soils and all that. But the constant chemical spraying in the air, the constant use and overuse of pesticides and herbicides that have pesticide components is just it's off the hook, and it needs to stop. And it's all this
Yes,
country is terrible
WK
about
said.
being
Really
right.
have noise Aaron helping.
You're absolutely right. That's one of the culprits. I forget what is in herbicides. There's this surfactant, and I can't remember the name of it. But in all herbicides have this surfactant, and this surfactant, if it gets on the insects, it kills them
Blacksmith Dan
flat
said.
out.
Even if we simply grew veggies in our lawns, it would help families a lot.
Yep.
But stupid HOAs are so ignorant of what maintains property values.
Agreed. Agreed. Yeah, a lot of changes could happen in this country that would make things so much better if it wasn't having
Bad
to
news,
fight the
said.
corporations all the
HOAs,
time.
what face?
I don't understand what the chatbot actually said. Oh, but I see the emoticons now, so sorry. the speech chat bot was trying to turn those emoticons into English. Said some weird stuff. Anyway, I want to thank you all for joining me this evening. My name is Dave. I'm Woodturner. Passionate about woodturning bees and the environment and the planet that we live on. It's the only one we got, and it's going to be that way for a long time if we ever find another planet. But even so, we've got to save the one we're on. Yeah, we're just killing ourselves
Bad
and everything
news,
on it.
said. See ya Monday.
Well, I'll be back. Oh, hopefully, well, I'll be back tomorrow evening. Tomorrow's Wednesday, so I do Tuesdays and Wednesdays. Hopefully, you can make it tomorrow evening. That'd be cool. I know you mentioned last time you got to
Yes,
find a way to get out
WK
of.
said. Have
Uh,
fun and keep turning. I'll
Thanks,
catch ya
SWK.
next time. Blacksmith Dan said. Have a great night, Blacksmith
Ah,
Aaron
right
said.
on.
Just followed.
Thank
That
you.
is, said, oh, awesome.
Yeah.
See you tomorrow.
Very, very cool. I remember you saying you got to find a way to get out of work early. Just tell them you got to watch me. I don't know. I don't think that'll do anything. But anyway, I appreciate you coming out. And thanks, Blacksmith Dan, for the follow. Everybody else who, excuse me, followed this channel. I appreciate the support. This is a fantastic community to be a part of, and I appreciate you all. Thank you. I hope to catch you all on your channels at some point in the near and far future. I'll keep it going and we'll keep it moving around. Thanks again for joining me. I'll be back again tomorrow evening, 8 to 11 Eastern Standard Time. I hope you stay friendly. I hope you enjoy the rest of your evening, and I hope to see you tomorrow. Good night, folks. Thanks for stopping by. Take care.